Thank you, listeners, viewers, audience, for joining the Canadian Securities Exchange. This is an Instagram live session of hashtag finance. I'm your host, Barrington Miller, and today I am here with NexTech AR Solutions and their CEO, head honcho, big man in charge, Evan. What's going on, Evan?
Just hard at work as usual, just on the phone all day trying to close deals.
So we spoke last week, or maybe it was the week before. Time is coming a little iffy right about now.
Yeah.
Um, how's the family doing? How's everybody in your
The family's
in,
good.
in your
The
world?
family's good. There's lots of people home at the same time, which, makes things obviously much more complex, but my 10-year-old's learning how to ride a bicycle. So, life is kind of going along, chugging along as usual. Nobody's sick in my family, thank God.
Well, that's great. Where are you right now? Where do you rest your hat?
Right now I'm in Florida,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, I came down to Florida to kind of escape New York just before coronavirus, really took over that state. I was able to kind of get out of Dodge. So I'm holed up in Florida until New York opens, and then I'm back in New York.
Well, thankfully you were able to do that, and let's hope everyone stays safe. Now let's jump right to the business. NexTech AR. What do you guys do? What are you doing?
Augmented reality, my friend. We are, shop from home, work from home. We have a very, very significant tech stack that really speaks to this new paradigm shift of, shopping from home. So, 3D product visualizations is now something that has become very important for corporate America. If you could imagine, new product launches used to happen where, you'd have a conference and you'd be launching a new product. All that's over now. And so using augmented reality, using NexTech's technology, we can turn your new product into a 3D AR object, and then that product can be viewed by pretty much anyone, anywhere. You could be viewing it in your house. I could be viewing it in my house. And it's as if the product is in the room with you. So it's a very immersive experience. It's as close to having the product in the room with you as possible without it actually being there. In other words, if it was a couch, I mean, you would feel its presence. The only thing you couldn't do is sit on it.
Now we got a few people that are choosing to participate, and we do encourage audience participation. It's a family
Sure.
show, so keep it clean and respectable and all of those things. Um, Somebody wrote Kijiji and eBay. You'd be a monster. And another person asked if you could sell from home.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
So a
let's,
couple of
yeah,
things. So there's something called a walled garden. So in the world of tech, there's a few walled gardens. So Amazon is a walled garden. So what that means is that eBay is also a walled garden. Is that they have their own technology and they've built a trench around it, and they don't allow for companies like NexTech to come in and create augmented reality experiences on their websites. So our technology works outside of these walled gardens. It's not just our technology, anyone in our
right.
space, right? So eBay, although they would be a great partner for us, that's not really an option. Basically, anyone who has an e-commerce business, if you have a Shopify site, if you have a BigCommerce site, a WordPress site, Magento, we integrate with all of those websites. That's where the technology works really, really well. It's seamless. It's frictionless. We've been having a lot of success with that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for answering, and thank you for the questions. I'm going to try and I'll get to the questions later on, but I appreciate you guys guys and girls, keep asking. Um, how is how has this new reality, this sort of augmented reality,
Yeah.
affecting the augmented reality of your business?
Uh,
I know you guys were on the trajectory of, you know, going up and steady, and tell us a little bit about how how COVID has affected you and your business.
yeah. I mean, it's for us, it's more like explosive growth. We're in the stage where we're experiencing explosive growth. Our year over year monthly revenue is, surging by 300%, year over year. And it's accelerating. It's accelerating because of the pandemic. The pandemic is driving more and more people to shop online. Pretty much, there's no option, right? It used to be, oh, I could go to the brick and mortar store, tool around, the mall, and pick out my favorite pair of shoes, or try on some pants. That's not possible today. So if you want to buy a pair of shoes or pants,
That's not going to be possible. Let's be real. It's not happening anytime. It's
right?
not.
Right.
It's
So what does that mean? That means that the world of e-commerce has really become the one-stop shop. And in fact, Amazon's probably carrying, the whole, North American economy on its shoulders single-handedly, because, what else is there? I mean, I know my door is every day. I'm getting multiple boxes delivered to my house. I mean, I don't know about you. So when you think about what I'm
yeah.
describing, yeah, we own a number of e-commerce businesses, and the businesses are experiencing a surge in orders. And then on top of that, that's just one segment. We're about to close on an acquisition, which we've announced. We're just finalizing the paperwork.
Okay.
And that acquisition gives us a whole nother business segment, which is virtual conferences. There's nothing bigger. Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
we've had a couple offers to um to attend, and it's there's no conferences happening in the
Right,
next 2 months, three
right.
months.
Even the
It's
CSE, right? If you guys
yeah.
wanted to do a conference with your portfolio of companies, it wouldn't be in person, it'd be a virtual conference. Now, where it gets really exciting for NexTech and NexTech's customers is that, virtual conferences, we don't have a monopoly on virtual conferences. There are other companies, obviously, that
Oh,
do.
for sure.
Right,
Somebody's throwing in Zoom.
right. But right now, we are the first and only company to have the ability to integrate augmented reality into a virtual conference.
Wow.
We see that.
Just let it sit there. Just
Yeah,
let it
let
sink
it.
in.
Yeah, let it
Yeah,
marinate a little bit, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So imagine, you have a virtual conference. Let's use one of your, cannabis companies for an example, right? It could be a tech company, it could be a mining company, but let's just say cannabis, and they come to the virtual conference, and the investors, listening to a talking head, the CEO or CFO is talking about his company,
Right.
and he's talking about, let's just say it's an oil extraction machine that's got some new technology that's just going to blow everybody away. Okay, so watching a video of that is all that he can do, or he can show to a potential investor. Show a video. But with NexTech's virtual conferencing platform plus AR, we could take that oil extraction machine and place it in the room with the viewer. Game changer,
It's
right?
no, it's somebody else wrote that. Somebody one of our audience members wrote that. I haven't heard of anybody proposing that idea. Um, I've heard of a lot of virtual conferences that are going on. And I'm going to do a plug for Canadian Securities Exchange. We are working on one for, it's not really a conference, more of a symposium on May 27th and June 10th. Stay tuned for the dates and times and subjects. Um, just throwing that in, so save the date. Yeah, nobody's doing that. And the longer this thing drags on and stays with us, the more we're going to have to adapt. And even on the other side, it's not going to be the way that it was.
Yeah.
And that's where NexTech is adapting very, very nicely. Now, you mentioned that you saw a surge. Can you give us an idea? Like, did you go from 100 to 200? Did you go from? Can you give us percentages or just
Yeah,
something
sure.
that we can equate to?
So, yeah, sure. So our typical revenue on any given day for our e-commerce businesses was tracking, 15 to 20,000, 25,000 in a day would be a good day. And so in the beginning of April, we were clocking in at $70,000 a day.
70.
Yeah,
US dollars?
No, those are Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I always speak in Canadian dollars because we're a Canadian domiciled
No,
company.
trust me, I appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, if we were U.S. domiciled, it would be U.S. Dollars. But so when I look at those numbers, I mean, those are significant numbers. Obviously, sustaining them is unlikely. I mean, not because the demand isn't there. It's because our infrastructure wasn't really built to handle. You don't normally see that happen overnight, so you can't anticipate that kind of scale in terms of demand, where it goes up 3x, basically overnight. And so we've been hiring people to fill the void. We kind of needed a week to kind of get our game plan in order, and now we think that this month, the month of April, is going to be another record-breaking month. Which means last month record-breaking, we did $1 million. This month, I wouldn't be surprised, although you never know, but I wouldn't be surprised if this month was over $1 million. Our goal in Q4 is to be doing $2 million a month in revenue, and scaling from there. We just don't see this stopping. We see blue skies, insatiable demand, both on our e-commerce businesses, our AR business, virtual conference business. For us, it's about keeping up with the insatiable demand. That's not as easy. It should be easy, but it's a challenge.
No,
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge,
Yeah.
And as well, naturally, you also want to keep the quality of the product at a high. So there were two comments. Someone was asking, how much is the AR business, or sorry, sector? How much has that grown? And another person kept on typing NASDAQ.
NASDAQ. I'll deal with NASDAQ first. I love NASDAQ. We are going to uplist to NASDAQ. We've talked to them. We've had exploratory conversations. We've gotten to the point where we kind of know what we need to do to get approved. We are going to apply for NASDAQ at some time in 2020, and we will try to meet the requirements and get listed on NASDAQ. Of course, there's no guarantees. They have to approve you. It's like being accepted into a club. But our goal is to be on NASDAQ National in 2020.
Well, we have a company, a cannabis company on the CSE that does have a dual listing on the CSE and NASDAQ, so we know it is possible. And,
yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's good for everybody. There's more than enough to go around, and we'll continue to support you being your home exchange.
Yeah.
The AR sector, how much has that grown?
So, yeah,
I don't know if you want to go. I don't know if you want to go 2020, 2019,
yeah.
2015.
So I'm not going to get super granular, but I'm going to
Yeah.
try and give the big picture, right? The big picture is founded the company in late 2017. Really got incorporated in January of 2018. Augmented reality was just getting started back then. Very few companies were generating any significant revenue in augmented reality, except for Pokemon Go. There was like one company that crushed it, right? That was 2000.
I was looking.
Yeah,
I
that was
was looking.
2016, 2017. That was just a lightning rod for the entire AR industry. And so we went public. We started to build our tech stack in 2018. We weren't in market, and we went to market in 2019 with our augmented reality tech stack. And we spent the year signing up early adopters. Roughly 50 companies signed up with us. And, we generated some modest revenue in 2019. Now, 2020 is turning into a completely different ballgame where we're now experiencing a lot of heavyweight demand, meaning it's no longer just the early adopters, people with, limited budget. It's now the Fortune 500 companies, multi-billion-dollar companies are at the table with us talking about augmented reality as something that they had on their roadmap, but now it's an urgent thing. It's no longer, we're going to integrate augmented reality. We get it. We like it. It's on our roadmap for the next, 1 to 3 years, and we're going to figure
Right.
it out as we, no. It's
It's a
now
roadmap 1 to 3 months.
yeah,
Let's get it
the
done.
conversation has changed. We're now
Yeah.
it's a now thing, and we're talking about $25,000 to $125,000 type of activations, and once you get started with a big company, they generally keep going as long as the experience is good, and so these are companies that have the potential to all be multi-million-dollar accounts for NexTech over the next few years. And it does take time to build these relationships and to prove that hey, we're a startup. They know we're a startup, right? And so you're a billion-dollar company and you're risking your brand and your reputation on a startup. Well, you're going to go slow. You're going to test the waters, right? And
Oh, for
so
sure.
so our investors, they need to understand, the lay of the land, how business works. It's not, hey, we're here and, there's a line out the door.
Throw up some bright lights, bells and whistles.
Right, right. It's
No.
a process. It's a process. So we've been building ourselves up from 2018, 2019, 2020 is a breakout year for us. 2021 is going to be a year, I think that's going to be in the history books for augmented reality, because you're going to see all the big tech companies come to market with new augmented reality capabilities that really just enhance what we do.
Yeah.
So,
And one,
there's this ecosystem, I guess, that's building momentum.
I don't mean to cut you off. You have a very unique position. You're sitting in a great chair. What are the top 3 sectors that are either coming to you or that you're predicting this technology will benefit the most? Is it travel? Is it grocery stores? Is it the auto industry? Is it like who's coming to you, and who do you see benefiting the most from technology like this?
So no question, e-commerce is, the lead, right?
Okay.
So everything in that spectrum, product views, clothing, apparel, wearables, anything, furniture, anything that goes in a house, home goods, clothing, apparel, shopping, shop from home. That's a huge, huge trend.
Shop
And
from home is,
yeah, and
that's
that's
it.
not,
That's,
yeah, yeah. So
we're just going
that's,
to call that shopping. It's not shopping
right,
from home. It's just
right,
shopping.
right. So that's hitting the nail on the head right there with augmented reality. Now, as you start to step away from that into, corporations, we're seeing companies that supply parts to the automotive industry, so robotics
Okay.
companies, right? You wouldn't maybe think of that, but a
No,
robotics company.
I can actually hear people typing and writing. I can hear it.
So robotics companies, I mean, think about a robotics company. Most of their products are already in 3D. It's just they are not, they create them in 3D. The whole auto industry and robotics industry, right? They use CAD design to create their products, and so for them to transition that into an augmented reality world is not as difficult and has a lot of value for their business. So we're seeing a lot of interest from heavy equipment manufacturers, robotics type companies, specifically automotive industry suppliers. We're starting to see that that's opening up to us. Anything with automation, where you need to show how the robot might work. We could create a 3D animation which shows the robot in motion, and it's again in your room with you, in your living room. You're watching a very complex piece of machinery do what it's supposed to do, and you might be an engineer, and you're home and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, this is exactly what I thought it should do, and yeah, we need to buy this, right? So that would be another industry. And then the third one, Barrington, I think augmented reality is starting to fill a void for new product launches. So think
Okay.
about, right? So think about, any new product launch, and think about,
New shoes
yeah,
comes out. New
yeah,
laptop.
yeah, right.
I don't know. New
Anything.
cars.
Yeah, yeah, new
Anything.
product launch. Yeah, anything. Sales guys, they don't have the ability to go, into a presentation anymore, and so we could do, virtual sales presentations. Where basically, imagine you have a guy live in a live Zoom feed, or even, well, this is a walled garden, so Instagram's a walled garden, but assuming
Right.
this was a Zoom live interview that we were doing, I could put a QR code up on my screen. The audience could scan it with their cell phone, nothing special about that, and put a piece of equipment, a new product, even a human hologram into their room, into their space with them, and get this immersive experience that makes them feel comfortable and confident with what the sales guy's selling, to the point where they push the button and they say, I'm in, ship it.
Wow. This is I'm going to give people a moment to write everything down or type everything down, because I guess nobody writes anymore. That's fantastic. And I was going to ask, what does 2021 look like? But pretty
Well,
much.
I could tell you. So we can keep going here, Barrington.
Yeah. Well, hey,
we
guess
have
what? I got nowhere to really go, so I'm pretty much here.
I have a lot of exciting stuff in terms of our product line offering. So we have this whole 3D AR ad network that we really haven't spoken about, primarily because if you think of ad networks, it's to drive people to a place to buy something.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously everybody's kind of cut back a bit on budgeting with this new economy, but a 3D AR ad network is pretty much everything I've just described to you inside of an ad unit. So we've created the first 3D interactive AR ad network where you go online and instead of seeing a static image of a product, you're seeing a 3D image spin around inside an ad unit. You can, with your mouse, pinch, zoom, rotate it, really get a kind of up close look at it. And then
No, I don't believe you, man. You're talking science fiction now.
I'll send it to
No,
you. I'll
this is
send it
Star
to you.
Trek.
Should I send it to you? I'll send it. So then you could click on that ad unit, and again, like magic, the product that you were just looking at on your screen is now in the room with you. And then you click the buy button and you go to a website and check out. I mean, it's an end-to-end solution. You talk about 2021. I mean, that's going to be, I think, the big driver of revenue in 2020, but really even more significantly in 2021.
Are you talking to any governments?
Why would I talk to governments?
Oh, are they going to use your stuff? I don't know.
Bureaucrats. Red tape. That's like, do you like red tape? No, we haven't spoken to any governments. No.
Okay, good. Sorry, my screen was frozen on one message, so I'm just making sure. Oh, how do I go back? Okay. Let's see. I know we had some questions. You know what? For our audience, obviously I wear glasses and it's pretty small type, and we've had a great amount of audience participation. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. We don't mean to ignore it by any means. Evan, if somebody wanted to ask you a question directly or indirectly, how would they reach you?
Email me, evan@nextechar.com. And if you have a real burning desire to talk with me, I'll even give you my cell phone number because...
Oh, not on here, man.
Not on here?
No. You know what? I don't even know what the protocol is. Just feels
Okay.
like a bad idea.
Forget that. I'm just trying to say that, I'm available. Obviously, my email is available, and I typically respond within 24 hours, maximum 48 kind of thing.
Well, this is you know what? This has been great. This has been extremely educational.
By the way, Barrington, do you
Yeah.
remember the last time we spoke was a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the date, but our stock has gone up. I mean, in the
You
last...
just reminded me. You
Yeah.
just reminded me of something that we spoke about in regards to your stock, and this is sort of a plug for the CSE,
Yeah.
indirectly, because we've been known as a cannabis exchange when we have so much more to offer, and really our tech story is one of the hidden gems on the exchange, and companies like NexTech, which debuted at what price?
We started at 25 cents.
And in the first year, what did you go up to?
1,000%.
1,000%.
Which means everybody made a lot of money in that first year. And it did it on significant volume. And I will say to anybody that's listening that the CSE is as good as any exchange on that I've ever participated in, and I've been in this investment business for over 30 years. I mean, the CSE is shocking in how much liquidity it's been able to bring to NexTech shareholders. And once you do get traction on the CSE, and it takes time to get traction on any exchange, but once you do, then the audience, the investor base is significant. They're engaged. The trading volume is significant, and I really feel like the CSE. I'd like it to be my home for the long term. my only concern is that it's, primarily made up of, individual investors, and it doesn't have a lot of institutional investors. And so as NexTech grows, the audience, right, we have to kind of
Yeah,
peel
no,
to,
we
yeah,
totally understand that. And
yeah.
again, with our conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, the conversation a few years ago was there are no investors. Now you only have individual investors. You know what? We're all headed in the right direction, and together our trajectory is going to the same place. So
Yeah, the
these
CSE has been
are,
great. The CSE has
yeah.
been great, and honestly, Barrington, you've been great. We've never.
No,
Yeah, you are.
no,
You've been
it's the
great.
plaid.
You are amazing. I mean, the fact is that you and I haven't spoken prior to, again, a couple of weeks ago. And as soon as I told you my story, you immediately connected with it, and we immediately synced up, and here we are. And so, to me, that's just a testament to you and the CSE able to recognize great stories that resonate with investors, companies, and then execute on these types of live events and podcasts and stuff like that. Not everybody can, so I appreciate it.
Well, we are the Exchange for Entrepreneurs. We work for you,
Yeah.
and we can relate to all the experiences and struggles and all the no's and everything that comes along with trying to achieve the goal and vision that you have. And as
Trying to
far as,
achieve greatness.
yeah, and it's every day, because you can achieve it every day, and it really does flow from the top down. And there is a real open door policy, and there's a lot of ears at the CSE that are always willing to listen. So not only internally, but externally for our issuers as well. And all right, that's enough. That's enough self-promotion and all of that. And I know people have other things they have to do. Like, we're still working, and um, I'm sure you've probably gotten 1,500 emails in the last 45 minutes. And I hope some of the people that were listening and watching really took notes, because you said some excellent things and gave some perspectives that people didn't necessarily know about, at least with not only NexTech, but the augmented reality and the e-commerce fields. So I just want to say thank you
I
for that.
appreciate that. Yeah. And we're excited to be back the next time you're doing one of these live. We're happy to come back and fill in any blanks. I don't know how often you do these shows, but now that I know which button to push.
Well, we have a standing show called West Coast Wednesdays from our team out in Vancouver, Anna Saren and Anil Mall. That takes place 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a standing show. And then these we try and do at least 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Wow.
Some are more serious than others. I did one in a hoodie and a hat on backwards, and that was not well received at all. So,
you live and you learn, Barrington.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you keep May 27th, June 10th free. So we'll be doing something special virtually with a few of our service provider partners, and one of the segments is going to be on technology. So
cool.
Hopefully there might be a place for NexTech. I still can't get over the augmented reality virtual conference, having that thing, that item, that whatever it is there. That's a real game changer and a real.
I'm going to send you some demos, so I'm going to really blow your mind. In fact, you need to download our ARitize app, ARITIZE app. It's both on Google. Yeah, ARitize. So that's.
Oh wait, I've seen it. ARitize 360, right?
So that's a new app, actually. That's a
Okay.
new app. So we have AR Ties, which is our first app, which if you just browse that, you'll be blown away. There's lots of AR experiences in there. That's kind of our demo app. And then AR Ties 360 right now is in early access. That's to be able to create your own 3D AR asset. And that's going to be live shortly, but that's
Wow.
not in the App Store yet, but that's coming.
Okay. Sorry. I had just one last question. I don't even know if somebody wrote this or not. I'm just going to try and scroll through, but wow, you got the big fan clubs. It was like, I love you, Evan. You're the greatest, Evan. It's like, Mom,
Hey,
get off.
if your stock goes up 1,000%, Barrington, they'll love you too.
Oh, geez. Um, what's your what is your dream partnership, merger, acquisition, collaboration? Like who or what do you want to work with in any capacity, in any like what would you be like, oh, it would be really cool if I don't know, Amazon wasn't a walled garden or like what's your dream? Like maybe is that too small? I don't know. Is it to do a
Yeah,
virtual flight simulation to
I mean,
NASA to
I
the
mean,
moon?
my
Who
yeah,
knows?
my dream. It's not really a dream. It's more, I look at things more as accomplishments or goals. For me to feel like I'm climb to the top of the mountain where I could like climbing Mount Everest, right? That's what I get up and think about doing on a daily basis in a business context. So to get to the top would be to do a deal with an Apple, to do a deal with a Google, to do a deal with a Microsoft, right? To do a deal with an Intel, with a big tech company, with a Dell computer, one of
Right.
these big tech companies, to be able to do a deal with one of those guys would be incredible.
Well, yeah, things have a funny way of working out. So, um, if any of you are listening out there and belong to any of those companies, check out NexTech. Somebody wrote, "What's your email address again?"
It's real simple. Evan at nextechar.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Evan, and thank you to the NexTech AR team. This has been your host, Barrington Miller, another episode of Instagram Live under the umbrella of hashtag finance. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Barrington. Thanks, Barrington.
Oh,
Signing
sorry.
off.
Who
Yep.
are your biggest competitors? Last question.
There is so
We're
so
here,
there's
may as
there's
well.
yeah, there's nobody that does everything that we do, but if you wanted to look at a company like Snap, they have a ton of augmented reality on their platform. And so, but nobody has as many different augmented reality products and business segments as NexTech. So there's no direct competitor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Evan, and stay safe. Uh, make sure your make sure your kid has elbow pads, knee pads, helmet, all of those things on the two bikes, and
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks,
all
Barry.
right.